Alright, Dad the Dungeon Master here, and we're continuing our DM's guide for Phandelver and Below, the Shattered Obelisk. I've been a DM for over a decade, and I've run this campaign for multiple parties. And there are things about this book that are great, but there are things you absolutely need to change before you run this game for your players. Today we're going to handle Chapter 3, all of the side quests. So let's go ahead and dig in. Before we dig into our walkthrough of each one of these side quests, I want to talk about a neat mechanic that this book has in it that we will talk about multiple times over the course of this video. It has opportunities for your party to join each of the 5 factions in the Forgotten Realms. And as I said, you can plug this adventure into your own world. So if you're in your world, just replace the factions from the Forgotten Realms with factions from your world. So if you do a mission for Sildar, which includes clearing out Cragmaw Castle and finding the Wizard Iarno. As long as one of your party members holds up the tenets of the Lord's Alliance, he will offer them membership in the Lord's Alliance. There is a chance to join the Harpers if you go on a mission for one of the NPCs in this chapter and you fulfill the beliefs of the Harpers, and only certain members of your party are probably going to be seen by these NPCs as qualifying for these groups. And that's okay. Different members of your party can belong to different factions. During this chapter, we'll talk about an NPC that will give a party member a chance to join the Emerald Enclave, which is the faction of druids and rangers that are trying to preserve the natural world. The same with the Order of the Gauntlet. They uphold justice and order. And there's an NPC that'll send them on a mission in this chapter where they might get a chance to join that faction. And Hawley Thornton, who the party's already talked to, if they successfully clear out the red brands, if any of the members of your party happen to uphold the tenets of the Zhentarim, which is like basically Slytherin, ambitious, and guile and all that, she will offer one of them to become a member of the Zhentarim. So this isn't crucial to the story, but it is a really cool mechanic that this book has that I wanted to mention for you guys to be thinking about as we go through these side quests. So the 4 side quests in this chapter, not counting Cragmaw Castle, are the Banshee, given to you by Lady Goreli, which I've mentioned in a previous video, the Old Owl Well, which Darren Edermath, the Orchard Keeper, gives to you, Wyvern Tor, which is like a mission you'll pick up from the adventuring board outside of the main town hall to go take care of some bandits, and the Ruins of Thunder Tree, which is a town to the northwest that you'll get from Mrs. Alderleaf, Carp, the little halfling boy, his mom, a nice, wise old halfling lady. Of those, obviously going to see the Hag Agatha, I think, is an important thing that you should have your party do. I think you should actually do it even before you do the Red Brand Hideout. The mission to Old Owl Well is something you can either do or not do. It's not required for the main story. If anybody's seems like they want to join the Order of the Gauntlet, I would definitely do it. It is fun, but it's not necessary. Wyvern Tor is completely skippable. It is fun enough. It's pretty generic. It's just going and fighting some bandits, coming back. It is probably the least important of the side missions. If I was going to skip one, I'd skip Wyvern Tor. And then the Ruins of Thunder Tree is not mission critical to the main quest, but it is the most interesting and the most in-depth location. It does have the NPC that will offer your party to join the Emerald Enclave, so that makes it a little more important, and it's just a really well thought out and well executed location with a fun mission, fun NPCs, and fun bad guys there. So I would definitely include it, if for no other reason than just the enjoyment of playing through it. Sister Goreli is a young-ish female cleric that takes care of the Shrine of Luck in town, the Shrine to Tamora, the goddess of luck. She came back to town injured a few days ago. When the party approaches her to discuss this, she reveals that she's actually an agent of the Harpers and that she's seeking the location of an ancient lost spell book and thinks that a banshee named Agatha knows its location. She tried to discuss this with Agatha, was injured, and fled. On her way out of Agatha's lair, she noticed that Agatha liked fancy baubles. So she gives the party a silver comb and beseeches them to go and negotiate with Agatha on her behalf, and offers 3 potions of healing as a reward. As I said in a previous video, I like to do this mission sooner because it's able to be resolved without combat, and I just go ahead and have Lady Gorelli reveal the location of Cragmaw Castle. However you want to do it, they head to the town of Coneybury, an abandoned town, and outside of Coneybury, they find the lair of Agatha the Banshee. While they're there, Agatha shows up, and if the party is polite and respectful, and they succeed on a DC 15 persuasion check, which they can roll with advantage if they're kind, or if they have Lady Gorelli's silver comb, then Agatha agrees to discuss things with them and will answer one question. The question is about the spell book that Gorelli wants you to ask. And she will answer that she traded that spell book to a necromancer that lived in Erebor more than 100 years ago. If you bring that information back to Lady Gorelli, she is satisfied with this, gives you your reward. The book also mentions that the party may choose to ask Agatha something else, such as the location of Cragmaw Castle, the true identity of the spider, and if you've already done the Old Owl Well side mission, there's an NPC there that will request you ask a question of Agatha. And that's pretty much it for the Agatha side quest, but I will say this. There is a neat magic item that is in the Legend of Drizzt books called Agatha's Mask. Now, I don't know if this Agatha and that Agatha are the same Agatha, but I think they should be, especially if you have any party members that have read any of those books. So what Agatha's Mask does is it's like a hat of disguise. It changes your appearance. Drizzt is a dark elf. They're hated on the surface, and he uses it for a while to pose as an elf. So I think it would be neat to add Agatha's Mask into Agatha's lair. Maybe they get it, maybe they don't. That's something that you can decide. But I think that would be a neat Easter egg to add in there. Darren Eatermath runs an apple orchard in town. He's an older drow, over 500 years, and he's an ex-adventurer. He is also a member of the Order of the Gauntlet, and he will request that the party goes and checks out Old Owl Well, which is ancient ruins that belong to the ancient civilization of Netheril. And if you've ever played in the Forgotten Realms, you've heard about Netheril. It was this ancient, powerful society of wizards that had floating cities, and they got super arrogant one time. Thanks to the folly of Karsus, the magic stopped, all the cities came crashing down. So there's ancient, powerful magic relics hidden in Netherese ruins all over the Forgotten Realms. So he wants you to go check out the ruins because people have been saying that they've seen undead in that area. So you head to Old Owl Well. As you approach, you come up this hill, there's like a single tower standing up still. When you get to the top of the hill, you see like a tent, like a nicer, newer tent, and if you pass a DC 15 perception check, you smell rotting death. As you come into the area on the map here, 12 zombies will come shambling out of the tower, and a wizard will come running out of the tent. As long as the party, so as DM, you need to have the wizard be saying stuff. And if the party stops and discusses, like talks back to the wizard, answers his shouts and responds to him, he will tell the zombies to stop. If you don't, a party of 4 level 3s could probably take this mage and his 12 zombies, but it'll be rough and be kind of weird and like not very good rhythm and pacing to just like stumble into this like pretty difficult battle. So the wizard, if you discuss things with him, will say that or if the party mentions that they're after something like the location of Cragmaw Castle or whatever, he will try to make a deal. And what he wants, you can either have him wish for the party to go ask a question of Agatha, or you can have him say that the bandits in Wyvern Tor have scouted out his location and he's worried they're going to return and he wants you to clear them out. Depending on the pattern in which you're doing these side missions or the pattern in which your party chooses to take them on, will be which thing you want him to have them do. This wizard's name is Hamun Coast, and it is a DC 10 Arcana check to tell that the symbol on his forehead is a necromantic symbol, and it's a DC 15 History check to tell that his robes and his garb are Thayan, like he's a red wizard of Thay. And if any of your party has seen the D&D movie, which they probably have if they're playing D&D, they're going to know exactly what kind of shenanigans a red wizard of Thay can get up to. The question that he wants them to ask Agatha is the name of the wizard who built the tower here in the old Alwell ruins. If you happen to fight and defeat Hamun Coast, or are able to sneak into his tent and loot it, he has a chest worth about 75 gold pieces worth of coins. He has 5 agates worth 10 gold pieces each. He has a potion of healing, a spell scroll of darkness, and a jeweled box worth 25 gold. On his person, he has a ring of protection +1 that he found in the ruins of Netheril. It's made of a green stone that's stronger than steel. And being of this ancient, strange Netheril magic, it has the added benefit of giving you a +4 to any check or save made to not drop something, like if someone's trying to disarm you. Wyvern Tor is pretty straightforward. It's this big cliff that you can see for miles and miles around. If you're traveling down Tribord Trail, you'll see it off to the side of the trail miles away. And any character who's searching this area for the Raider camp can make either a DC 15 perception check or a DC 10 survival check to find the camp. When you get there, you find a place that looks like this. Out front is one bugbear who's a sentry. And if you quietly take out this bugbear, you can surprise the rest of the raiders inside the cave. They are led by an orc named Bughor Axebiter, who has 18 HP. There are 4 bugbears in here, and an ogre named Gog. Gog will fight to the death. The rest will flee if Bughor falls in battle. Once everything is cleared out, you will see scrawling like cave paintings on the northern wall of a goblin with a crystal sticking out of its skull. Some of those psionic goblins that are like hints as to what's to come later in the quest basically got off track over here searching for pieces of the obelisk, and they made this painting. After that, you'll find a chest with about 25 gold pieces worth of coins and 3 vials of perfume worth 5 gold pieces each. Kelleen Alderleaf, the sweet halfling lady whose son told you about the secret entrance into the Red Brand's hideout, will tell you about a town called Thundertree, which lies in ruins. If you're searching for Cragmaw Castle, which with my template you wouldn't be anymore, you'd know where it is, you would have already been there. Or if you are searching for the treasure that the female prisoner inside the Red Brand's hideout told you about, it's in Thundertree. Or you can give your party other reasons to go to Thundertree, or if you're interested in the druid that lives there, that's another reason you can go to Thundertree. He's the NPC that will offer the party membership in the Emerald Enclave. So if you have a druid, you can tie their story in with it. That's what I would probably do if I had either a druid or ranger. I would try and tie their backstory to Thundertree, because it's really like a nature-based side quest. But either way, you head to Thundertree. Now, Thundertree is the most in-depth and most complex side quest in Chapter 3, not counting Cragmaw Castle because it's really like a main mission. But you arrive and you see a sign that says, warning, stay back, there's dead inside. Warning about the undead, and it says there's also plant monsters. And those things are all true. It's a little town that lies mostly in ruins, and it's mostly been reclaimed by nature, vines and thickets growing over half, fallen apart and decayed buildings. And it's built like around a hill that rises in the middle, similar to Phandelver. And at the top of that hill is a large tower with like a bit of the roof ripped off. So you're going to be coming from the west, entering into the map. So I'm going to start with location 1 and work our way across from there, the way the book has it set up. So there are several locations around this town which are super overgrown, and they have what are called twig blights in them. Twig blights are basically like animated bushes. They're these vicious little plant monsters, which they stand perfectly still, kind of like Pseudo-Wudo from Pokemon, and if you get close, they'll attack you. So anytime there are twig blights, anytime I mention twig blights, if you have a passive perception of 13 or when you get within 10 feet of the door of one of the locations, and you're rolling perception to check it out, as long as you roll at least a 13, you can pick these twig blights out from the surrounding non-animated plant life. So areas 1 and 2 are both just like abandoned, fallen apart cottages, and they each have 2 twig blights. If you get into a fight with either of the twig blights in this area, the twig blights from the other location will come and join the fight after 1 round. An investigation check in area U2 will reveal that there is a loose floorboard where a merchant hid a chest underneath the floorboards, and it contains 120 gold pieces. And as always, with any chest that I ever mention, the book usually says that they're unlocked, which if you do not have a rogue or anybody that's trained with thieves tools, just make it unlocked, that's fine. But if you do have a rogue in your party, give them the chance to use their thieves tools, make them get to feel like a rogue, make the chest locked, the DC can be whatever you want. Just, let them have a chance to use their thieves tools. Area 3 used to be a tap room called the Brown Horse. If you go in here, you can still smell the faint smell of yeast from the brewing that used to be done here, and laying around in here are 6 corpses. Those corpses are actually ash zombies. Now, ash zombies are mostly the exact same as regular zombies with a couple of flavor differences. When they're destroyed, they burst into a 5-foot cloud of ash. It doesn't obscure or choke anybody. It's just for flavor. The reason why they are ash zombies instead of regular zombies is this town was destroyed when a volcano erupted and swept through here on its way to the ocean. Neverwinter was also mostly destroyed by this volcano, and if you've read the Drist books, it's actually when he releases that lava primordial, well, Bruner technically releases it, but they accidentally release that lava primordial and it just destroys everything on its way to the ocean. They lock it away later. Spoiler alert. But so these ash zombies will get up and they'll start attacking your party, and they will pursue them relentlessly. They're zombies, so you have to destroy them once you disturb them. Area 4 is the Druid's outpost. In here is the Druid named Redoth that Kayleen Alderleaf told you about. She's really kind of the NPC that's supposed to tell you where Cragmaw Castle is. So if your party doesn't know where Cragmaw is, this is the person you're looking for. She's a member of the Emerald Enclave, so she likes to preserve the natural order. She's an elderly female woman. She's very sparse with her words. She's not going to say 2 words when 1 would do. If a member of your party seems to embrace the same ideals of the natural order that she does, she'll tell them where Cragmaw is, though I do not like this. I think that you should always do option number 2, which is she will offer the party a deal. She warns the party about the twig blights and the ash zombies. She's adept at avoiding them because she's been here for a long time. She also mentions some guys in black cloaks and masks on the eastern side of town, which are cultists. You will later find out they're members of the Cult of the Dragon. If the party attacks her for any reason, she turns into a gray squirrel, scurries through a crack in the wall. So her offer is that there is a young green dragon named Venom Fang that has taken up residence in the tower at the top of the hill in the middle of town. And if they can chase that dragon off and get it to leave, that she will then tell them where the location of Cragmaw Castle is. I think this is absolutely what you should do, whether a member of your party is a druid or loves nature or whatever, because how else are you going to have the chance for them to interact with a young green dragon? It would be a wasted opportunity. Don't do that. Make sure she does the deal where they have to go deal with this young green dragon. She also warns the party that there are giant spiders in the ruins at the foot of the hill leading up to the tower. Area 5 is a ruined farmhouse, and if your players go poking around in there, this thicket right next to it holds 12 twig blights and 2 needle blights. And once they make noise, each round, 2 of them are going to go to the north door and 2 of them are going to go to the south door. So 4 total per round for 3 rounds until they've all come in. So this is a pretty numbers heavy battle, and if you know anything about the like action economy of 5e, number of combatants is like the most dangerous thing. It's like the most powerful thing. 100 level 1 characters could easily destroy any CR 20 or level 20 character just because they get so many actions. So this is going to be a tough battle. If you're, I mean, and basically there's no benefit, there's no treasure to find. They just walk in here and get overwhelmed potentially. Area 6 is a ruined store. There's webs and stuff draped around. It's a DC 8 athletics check to not get caught in the webs, or if you do get caught, a DC 8 athletics to break free. Whenever the players get in here, 2 giant spiders will scurry over the walls and attack them. Once they're dealt with, there is like a bundle of webs that's like humanoid sized, and if your party searches it, they find like a guy drained of his fluids like a spider would do. He is wearing +1 leather armor, so you wanna violate a corpse to get that. A short sword, and he has a potion of healing and a belt pouch containing about 26 gold pieces worth of coins. Area 8 is an old smithy. There's 4 corpses laying around. They are ash zombies. They'll stand up, they'll attack the party. Once that's dealt with, you can find a bag, if you investigate the area, that contains 75 gold pieces worth of brass dragon scales. They can be sold to an armor or another interested buyer. Area 9 is a destroyed herbalist shop, and this is the location of Myrna's family business that she told you about, the prisoner from the Red Brand hideout. If she told you where it was, you can easily find the locked box that contains the 200 gold piece necklace, the family heirloom. Or if she hasn't told you, it's only a DC 10 perception check to find it. That's really the only thing that's here. I mean, you're going to want to throw in flavor about destroyed potion bottles and herbalism and stuff, but really you're just here to find that family heirloom. Area 10 is the town square. It's your standard town square. The only thing of note here is the statue in the middle, which a DC 15 history check will tell the party that it is Palian, a hero that protected the town from the horrors of the Neverwinter Woods when the town was first formed. Area 11 is an old barracks. It's got the standard barrack stuff, bunks, kitchen, all that. There are 5 ash zombies in here wearing assorted, mismatched armor. The armor does not grant them any additional bonus to their AC. Again, they will attack relentlessly once disturbed, so you'll have to deal with that. Area 12 is just another destroyed building. It was a weaver's cottage. It's got the same 4 twig blights, 2 needle blights. Like I said before, passive of 13 or perception check of 13, you recognize them. Hopefully by this point your party has faced enough of these guys to keep on the lookout for them and try to avoid them. The only narrative thing that really matters about this location is if you do have combat here or you make a lot of noise here for some reason, you will alert the cultists in Area 13. Area 13 is a house that has been reinforced and boarded up by 6 cultists of the Cult of the Dragon. It's a DC 20 athletics check to try and break through the barred up shutters or door. So these cultists wear these like cloaks that kind of resemble dragon's wings, and they wear leather masks with like attached stylized horns. And these guys have a young male leader named Fabric, who is hoping to rise through the ranks of the Cult of the Dragon by recruiting the young green dragon that's taken up residence here to join their cause, which the Cult of the Dragon wants to resurrect Tiamat. They feature very heavily in the Tyranny of Dragons campaign, the Horde of the Dragon Queen, the Rise of Tiamat. That was like one of the first adventures. When this adventure first came out, it was in the D&D Beginners box before they added the whole second half. So there's a chance your party's already played Tyranny of Dragons, and so it would be kind of weird to run into Cult of the Dragon members here trying to resurrect Tiamat when that's already been dealt with. If you're in that situation, just make them some other cult. Just come up, like look up evil deities and just style them to fit those evil deities. I have done that before. It doesn't change anything drastically. Like other evil deities want to negotiate with dragons. So I feel like anytime they give you a named NPC, it is an opportunity. You can either do as much or as little with it as you want. There have been a couple times when once I decided to dig into who Fabric was a little bit, I've done it every time since. So while Fabric is the leader of this little group of cultists, and yes, he's ambitious, he's wanting to move up through the ranks, at one point I decided like, hey, let's give him a little more character, and I made him more honorable. And so if the party wants to negotiate with the dragon also, the cult leader, Fabric, will say that he will join them and they'll travel together to the dragon and they'll talk to the dragon. What he actually wants to do is to sacrifice the party as a tribute to the dragon. So that's fun. If it works out like that, that's fun. You'll end up fighting them and the dragon at the same time, possibly, which is a total mess and a ton of fun. I've done it. It's great. But whenever the party doesn't want to do that, which most parties are not going to be like, hey, yeah, let's join up with this cult and go negotiate with this dragon. Most of the time, they're going to be like, no, we can't let you do that. So in that case, what I've done the last couple of times I've run this is I've had Fabric offer to duel one of the party members in one-on-one combat, and whoever wins, to the death, and whoever wins gets their way. If the party member kills him, they can go deal with the dragon how they want. The cultist will leave, and if he kills the party member, then the party will help them go negotiate with the dragon. So the thing that I have done the last couple times that has worked out pretty well, and one time it worked out really, really well, is I've given him levels in fighter. I've just matched his level to the level of the party, level 3, and he's a battle master, so he's got maneuvers, and I've made him like a duelist. Like, this is his thing, that's why he thought of it. He's like a dex-based dueling fighter, uses like a rapier, like a fencer. And what I like to do is have his mask get knocked off halfway through the battle and reveal that he's actually either an orc or a half-orc. I usually go with half-orc. And the party member will almost always defeat Fabric because they're the heroes, they're the good guys. And this last time I did it, the party member that defeated Fabric, whenever Fabric's defeated, he's like, all right, do it, finish me off. And the party member said, no, like, I'm not gonna kill a defeated opponent. And so Fabric, as I had created him to be honorable, I decided in that moment to have him take off his cloak and his talisman to Tiamat and his mask and give them to his men and tell them, like, I no longer deserve these. Take them back, tell them, that I fell in battle or whatever. And I had Fabric tell that party member that he owed them a life debt and that he would serve them until that debt was repaid. So Fabric actually became like an NPC that traveled with the party until he repaid that debt to that party member and saved their life, which did eventually happen. The party member saved Fabric again, so he ended up owing him 2 and ended up having to save him twice before his debt was repaid. So he was with the party for a while, but it ended up being a really neat part of the adventure. So if you want to use that in your own party, that's cool. If not, that's fine. But it worked out really well when I did it, as that idea kind of developed and got more and more in depth over time. Area 7, the tower at the top of the hill, has a small cottage attached. The tower itself is a single room, 40 feet high, and does have a 5-foot wide staircase that spirals up the inside of it. The dragon Venom Fang that was searching for a lair in the Neverwinter Wood found this place and has been living here. He will get ready for a fight. If the party makes noise in the cottage, he'll be prepared for a fight, and the party and him will fight. Running dragons is a lot of fun. The game kind of takes it easy on you a little bit by making you in this tower because it kind of limits how much his flying can help him, but it will still be a tough battle. Your party needs to be prepared for it. And Venom Fang loves this lair, does not want to give it up, but if he is reduced to a quarter of his HP, he will fly up and escape. Occasionally you'll have a party that will have tricks up their sleeve to be able to stop him from escaping and will actually slay him, which is awesome, but most of the time he's going to fly off, and the book never mentions him again. But if he does escape, I like to bring him up later to run in the party again in different situations, and I'll talk about that when we get there. But just so that they can kind of finish up unfinished business when they're a little stronger and he's not quite so intimidating. In the chest in the tower is coins equaling about 34 gold, 4 silver goblets worth 60 gold pieces each, a spell scroll of Misty Step, and a spell scroll of Lightning Bolt. It says in the book that Venom Fang spends his time admiring his treasures. It's like the start of his little hoard. He is a young dragon. To me, it's kind of adorable that this much loot he considers like his hoard. But yeah, so that's what's in the chest. So beneath like the coins and the other stuff is an old dwarven battle axe with like a rusted blade, and Venomfang has ignored it, not recognizing its value. It has the word Hugh written in Dwarvish carved into the weapon, and it is a +1 battle axe, and it actually does maximum damage against plant creatures. So I'm sure your party would have loved to have that before they went all the way through Thunder Tree, but they have it now. And I think it's a cool, unique magic item. This adventure does a good job of giving you unique magic items. And that will do it for all of the side quests from Chapter 3. Whether you learned about the location of Cragmaw from Lady Goreli, like I suggested, or you're just now finding out about it from Redoth, the Druid, and you go do Cragmaw after this, or you did it before, like I suggest, you have now finished up all of the quests for Chapter 3. If you're following my template, by the time you get back to town, finishing your last mission, Grundrin has deciphered the map, and he is ready to take the battle to Wave Echo Cave, to go find his brothers, to confront the spider, to find the ancient magical forge that you can forge magic items. And so the party should be rearing and ready to go. You should level up to level 4 at this point once you finish Chapter 3, and we will talk about Wave Echo Cave. It's a massive, intricate, well, not massive, it's a big, intricate dungeon. And it used to be the climax and the end of this adventure when it was in the D&D Beginner's box. Now it's like the high point, the midpoint of the story, and then your party will go on to like the Eldritch Horror stuff that they added after. But this is a fun, awesome dungeon. I can't wait to talk about it with you guys, but we'll get into that next time.